Hello everybody. Okay, in this screencast we're gonna solve this assignment, which is a playground assignment where you can write some code and test it out in Xcode. So I'm opening up the assignment. So the instructions are all listed as comments in that assignment, so we'll post that also on GitHub and so on so that you can view it. Alright, so it's opening up in Xcode. Okay, so it opened up in Xcode, and here is the assignment. Basically, it's opening up as a playground. All right, so question one, create a variable that holds your name. Okay, so I know that this variable is not going to change, so I'm going to do let and call it my name. My name equals, here it is, and you type in your name. All right, perfect. You can try to run this. Let's see what happens. It takes a little bit of time. So while it's building, I can continue. Print hello concatenated with the variable that you just created. Okay, so I'll do print. So I can concatenate. I want to do hello space and then concatenate with it my name. All right, so here it is. It's still building, so we'll wait a little bit until it's done. But anyway, I can continue on. You know, it's still spinning and so on, launching and so on. We'll wait here. Let's see what happens when it does run this. Right, again. Okay, now loop over the provided array. So here is the array of names. So I opened up on the side the swift.org, their book on Swift language, and basically what I would like to do is this is control flow and looping. So allow. So basically here it's looping, and here it is. It's exactly the same code. So basically what I will do is I will do a for each name in names, and then basically I'm gonna print name. All right, here it is. So now go here, click play, and here we go. So now it's printing hello. This is in class 1, and then my name, and then these are the names that are in the array. I use a for each. Okay. Loop over the provided array of names and print the names in uppercase. Okay, cool. So I'm going to do the same thing for each name in names, and I'm going to print name dot to upper or uppercase, and that takes care of that. Allow. Okay, and we go here and click play, and here it is. The names are uppercased. Okay, cool. So it seems it's working. And so we're done with these. Loop over the provided array of names and print only the names that start with 0, with O, M, and N. Okay, cool. So now in this case, I can do the same thing. This is how I loop over them, right? And now what I could do is I would like to get the let the first part to be equal to name dot. I would like to get the first part. So basically I would like to do, let's say, prefix, and prefix gives you, returns a subsequence up to the specified maximum length. Okay, cool. So if I do maximum length and I specify the maximum length 1, so I want the first character, right? So this is the first character. All right. So now what if I just print it? So I'll do print just to test out. Print first character plus, and then I put this, and then I put the name just so that we could see name. Now we run this and see. Oh, needs a space. Here's the space. Run this again. Yeah, so I'm getting the first character. You see, perfect. So now I can do an if-else statement. If the first character equals or is equal to O, or the first character is okay. So basically loop over the names and print all to the names that start with an O or an M. Okay, good. So now if it's M and N, then print the name. Okay, cool. Here it is. And just then in that case print the name. So I'm going to print only the names that belong to that space. So here we are. We run that and it's only, let me, maybe here I can print, I'll print some spaces, print some kind of spacer between them so I know which one is which. There's that, and here is that, and here's that, and so on. So now we're here. I'll go play this one. Alright, so it only printed the ones that have O, N, M, and N. Okay, good. So here we're good. So now we're done with that. Now loop over the numbers from 1 to 20 and print these numbers. Okay. But for multiples of 3, you print fizz. So basically, let's loop over the numbers. So first of all, for I in Z, it starts with 1, dot, dot, and then I can do dot, 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 greater than 20, and that this means that it will go all the way from 1, or I want it to go all the way to 20, so I do another dot and 20. So these numbers will go from 1 to 20. Print I. Let me copy this from here to here as a separator, and I run this, and you will see that I have numbers from 1 to 20. Perfect. So I'm printing these numbers. Now I just need to do if-else statements. If I modulo 3 is equal to 0, right, and I modulo 5 is equal to 0, then I'm gonna print fizz buzz. Otherwise, else if. So I'll do else if, and then else, and here we go. So basically, if it's only by 3, we'll do that. If it's only a multiple of 5, we'll do that. And here is our printing. So basically, we're printing fizz buzz here in this case. Okay, I'm gonna copy these cases from the comment. Alright, so basically, if loop over the numbers, and that prints the numbers. Okay, cool. So now we'll print the numbers in all the cases, it seems, right? So basically, I'm gonna print the number here also. So this is I. Okay, here is I. I'm gonna print it in all the cases, right? But if it is if it satisfies any of these, I will add to it some other things. So basically, here it's fizz buzz because it's both, right? And then 3 is fizz. Okay, and 5 is buzz. Okay, cool. Here we are. Okay, now we run the code. So basically, we are looping from 1 to 20, and this divides 3, which is good. This is a multiple of 5. This divides 3, 5. 15 is the only one, and here we go. So we solved this problem. This is a very popular problem in interviews and so on. Okay, the fizz buzz problem. Alright, so now it's asking us to do two functions. Alright, so it's asking us to do two functions. Write a function that does something here. So write a function that accepts a number and returns true if the number is even, and false if the number is false. So it accepts a number. Okay, cool. So let's say this number is an integer. So I'll do fun. Okay, here it is, and I will pick function statement. The name of the function is, let's say, is even. And then you're going to pass on a parameter, and we'll call it num, and it's an integer, and we're going to return a boolean. Here it is, and basically I'm going to return number modulo 2 is equal to 0, right? So that's what I'm going to return. So basically I can test out this. I could do, for example, print let's say 2 is even, and it will tell you true or false while called is even, and pass it on the number 2. Okay, here we are. That tests 2, and we'll test, let's say, 3, and run this. Yes, so 2 is even, 3 is even, which is false. Okay, cool. So this works. Write a function that accepts an array of numbers and returns the minimum number in the array. That's very simple also. So let's write a function. Alright, now it didn't tell us what to do with regard to what if the array is empty and so on, you know. So these edge cases, so basically get minimum, I'll call it minimum, and it accepts an array of type integer. Okay, and it returns a minimum. Let's say it's an integer. Alright, so what I'll do is I'm not going to worry about the edge case for the time being, and then I'm going to analyze it to give you the edge case. So basically what I want to do is or let's worry about the edge case. So basically I want to return nil if the array is empty. So basically I have to put a question mark around this. This is to say this is optional, So what I could do is if the array is empty, then return nil, right? So basically now we're good. Now so basically if the array is empty, we just return nil. Okay, good. And now I will have a variable, call it minimum, and that variable it will be array, the first element in the array. We could do dot first if you want. I can do that, or I could do 0, right? The first element of the array, right? And then I will loop for each number in array. We can do something like that, but anyway, we can do something like that. That's straightforward. Or I can do I. Let's do that for each number in array. Okay, here it is. For each number in the array, and then we can do this one is array dot first. And if we can do that, here it is. And then basically we do this: if minimum or if number is less than minimum, then minimum equal number. We're good to go. That's it. And then we return number. Oh, sorry, return minimum. Return the minimum here. Yeah. So here it checks to see if the array is empty. If it's empty, it returns nil. Otherwise, we go in and we declare this as var, because this is going to change. You see, the minimum, we are changing it sometimes. We can assign it, right? Now the issue is must be minimum, must be. So yeah, so because you do that, you are indicating that it's a first. The array might not have a first element, so it's causing a problem. So what I could do is I can unwrap it. So it's because you see array dot first returns, see array dot first, it returns an integer with a question mark. This means it's optional, because it might return nil if the array is empty, right? So what we could do is we can unwrap it by putting an exclamation mark around it. This unwraps it. So now we have the minimum. And now we go, because we are sure that it's not empty, this means it has a first, right? All right, to test this is also very straightforward. Print, we could say the minimum is, and then we can do something like this. And then we do get minimum of an array. And here is the array. I'll put an empty array. Here is an empty array. And now we run this, it's going to return nil. Right? An empty integer array. Okay. You see it says the minimum is nil, right? And what I'm going to do is let me just put some here. Print line. Let's put some new lines because it's just too much. This is how you put new lines. All right, let's run this. Okay, the minimum is still nil. Here it is. Now we want to test with something else. Here it is. Now I'm gonna insert here an array of numbers. Let's say 1, 2, 3, 6, 4, -1, -100, 3, whatever, 2. Right. So I have, it should give me -100. Right. So when we run this, and it says the minimum is optional -100. Why? Because it returns an optional. If you look at it, it returns here an optional. Okay, cool. So now we're good. We have this assignment. It's very straightforward how to get the minimum, right? Okay. And we'll do the other parts in another video, in part 2 of this video. All right. Please let me know if you have any questions. Thank you.